Greetings, YouTube. Today is a story of a series of unfortunate events. On May 28th, I came home from work as I normally do. I washed my neck gaiter. I only have one neck gaiter at this point in time. I've got some more in order, but it's being the apocalypse, they're not going to be here till July. And I threw it in the dryer to be dried on a very low setting. What about my morning? When the dryer went off, my brain said, go get the neck gaiter out of the dryer. And another part of my brain said, you'll get it when you get up. Didn't do that. We made the decision on May 28th to have Mandarin euthanized. So as I got up to go to work, I came into the office to see her because she had been sleeping underneath that bench behind me. That's where she had picked to spend a lot of her time in her last week or 2 weeks of life. And I came in, I saw her, gave her some scritches, and then I get ready and left for work. I didn't have this. I was about half a mile away from home when I realized it. Now, I could have just continued on to work and used a bandana. I had extras in the car, but they're not as comfortable as this. So I turned around and came back and I got it. When I left for work the second time, I decided to go a different route. Now, it's not the route I normally take. The route I normally take is quieter, less traffic. It's residential for a good hunk of it. And it's darker. There's not as many bright lights. I don't really like bright lights at night. I don't like bright lights in general. But I decided I would take the brighter route on South Willow Street in Manchester so that I could maybe save a few minutes and make up the time I had missed. Now, realize I always leave for work early anyway. So the few minutes I would have missed wouldn't have been a major issue. I was taking a left-hand turn through a yellow light, legal, potentially questionable, when someone else in the other lane who was also going through a yellow light, legal but questionable, and I didn't see them. I was taking a left-hand turn. They were going straight. Their vehicle struck mine, and the passenger rear door just past the post between the front and rear doors. Crushed in my door, broke my axle, took my wheel like this, and stopped me dead in the middle of the road. Just, and I stopped. Their vehicle had damage to the front right bumper, but their vehicle was drivable. I felt bad because they were 20 years old and had no car insurance, and the car was new to them. Cops were called. They showed up. They took the assessment. I picked up a lot of stuff off the road. At the time, I didn't know whose parts it was. It was, in fact, their parts. Put them in my back seat. Amazingly enough, the window on my door wasn't broken, and it was down. I thought for sure that would have been just shattered, but it wasn't. It actually continued to work. I didn't go to work that night, and they drove away. Their car was drivable. They had called up their father, who came. They were okay. I was okay. Everybody was walking and talking. Nobody needed any medical assistance. And on June 1st, we had Mandarin euthanized. So it was a really bad 4-day period. The next day, I got the assessment from my insurance company. There was $7,800 worth of damage. And they were going to scrap out the car. This is the last thing I own from my car, Grace. Yes, I know I name my cars. I'm an animist. I attribute spiritual essences to pretty much everything that I interact with. But she was a great car. 2014 Toyota Corolla, in nice shape, except for the fact that I put her in danger and she was destroyed. So this has triggered both some depression because of my cat and the loss of a vital piece of resource, a vital resource. A car is a vital resource. And one that only had 52,000 miles on it. 6 years old, only 52,000 miles, less than 10,000 miles a year on her. And then she was just gone. So now at the time of this filming, I'm waiting for the payout. I'm getting back $9,100, which isn't a bad payout. So I need to go find a four-door sedan and something in the $8,000 range so that I can get it all signed, sealed, and delivered for under $9,100 when I'm done with the closing costs and registration and all that. Happy horse Bucky. Wrap it up so I can get back on the road. And I'm not a car guy, so I'm not after a specific thing. I just want a safe four-door sedan that has less than 100,000 miles. And I'm never going to find one of the mileage that I had. And my anxiety has been playing a whole lot of what ifs. Making this video is hard. It hurts because my brain is racing right now. But every time it starts, when I'm not staring at a camera intentionally talking about it, because that's what the point of this video is, every time my brain starts to do that, I start to tell myself, the past is a book. You can learn from it, but you can't change it. And I say it as many times as I need to say it until my brain stops racing. Because it's the truth. I made a series of decisions because I was anxious over my cat, and depressed, and because I was anxious about having to wear one of these, which I hate because it makes me feel like I'm being smothered. And we're in a pandemic, and my nation is tearing itself apart because of institutionalized systemic racism that's oppressed and abused black people for the past 400 years. And there are far too many white people that think they should just get over it when they can't get over the fact that they can't go get a haircut. That there are members of our community being murdered in the street by the police with often without any repercussions of any kind. I wasn't in a happy state of mind before the accident. I wasn't in a happy state of mind before we had to have my cat euthanized. And I am definitely not in a happy state of mind right now. I did call my therapist and had a conversation with him to see, and it did help. And I will be speaking to him via my computer in tomorrow. No, 2 days from now. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I'll talk about Thursday. It's my Wednesday. As soon as I get up to go to work for that on a Tuesday night, as far as I'm concerned, it's already Wednesday. My wife always gets confused about what day of the week it is for me, and I'm like, I always tell her it's not my fault. You're a day behind. So I'm not happy, but I'm safe, and I will have a vehicle again. It won't be Grace. And on Friday, my wife was at home, and I was out and about doing a few things with her car. And thankfully, we have a second vehicle. And when I drove past, I happened to drive past the lot where Grace was sitting. And then I happened to drive by later, and she was gone. And it hurt. Because I feel like I let her down. Now, my father was nice enough to make me a deal. His wife has a 2017 hatchback. I can't remember what brand it is. Again, I'm not a car guy. But it's in great shape. It's like 2017, it's got less than 10,000 miles on it. But he wanted 12,000 for it. But I'm not in this point in life. I don't want to go into debt, even if it's only $3,000. And I don't want a hatchback. I want a sedan. I want a car big enough that has an actual trunk. I like having a trunk so I can lock things in there. I store things in the trunk. I have gear I always take with me everywhere I go for emergencies and things like that. And I like having a trunk. and it's large enough that I can get 5 adults in it if I have to, and it hasn't happened often, but it has happened. And so I like having just a four-door sedan. I'm not into speed. I'm not into you know car tuning and stuff. I just want a reliable car that gets me from point A to point B that I can take wherever I want to go. Um, but I miss Grace. I always have a key like this in my wallet. Now this thing only weighs a bit, maybe an ounce of that. I can tell it's not in my wallet. It won't let me start a car, but it will let me open a car door, which is why I carry it, in case I lock my keys in the car, or if I get locked out of my car because I lose my key, this still let me access my car. Again, I keep gear and supplies in the car. It's shelter. So my car is an asset. It is a piece of equipment. It is a location. It is my stuff. And having a key on me means I always have access to it, even if I can't drive the car at that minute. Also helps to prove it's mine, because I can show you my registration. It's got my name and crap on it. So no question about who owns that vehicle. But yeah, I'm trying not to beat myself up, but I made a series of unfortunate decisions that led to a series of unfortunate events. No one was hurt, and traffic was interrupted briefly. Everybody went home. And I don't have my car anymore. So here's to Grace. She was a great car, and I loved her, and I missed her. Side note on why her name is Grace, that I'd just gotten her, and the first thing I did, other than bring her home, was to take my cat, Spam, to the vet to be euthanized. It was an act of grace. And 3 years later, 4 days before a mandarin was euthanized, she died. I'm not sure why the time I spent with Grace was bookended by the deaths of my cats, but it was. Life's weird sometimes, don't you think? All right, thank you for indulging me in this personal story. And I hope that everyone else out there is well. I hope that your cars are all in great shape, and try to make good driving decisions. Be more situationally aware than I was. And I may borrow a line from an old TV police procedural. Stay safe out there.